Trade-based money laundering is based on a very simple concept that's called fraud. And fraud is actually a dead simple crime to understand. There are people who will tell you fraud's complicated. It's not. I tell you a lie, you give me money, that's fraud. And it's never any more complicated than that. Listen, if 12 Texans could understand Enron, I said that once in a speech in Dallas, but I was smart enough to change it to 12 Oklahomans. Sure, the fraudster may go through all the machinations, may construct a three-ring circus to make you believe the lie. But in the end, if you find the lie and you find the exchange of money, you found the fraud. And all of this new money laundering is based on fraud. Now, the problem is, like generals, we're all fighting the last war. All of your AML training and all of your KYC stuff is based on the old money laundering. And what's about to happen, remember the 16-year-old from English class? Yeah, he cheated his way through high school, he cheated his way through college, he's now cheating his way through life. That kid's now 26, and he's cheating his way by designing systems through artificial intelligence to look exactly like legitimate deals. And they're looking for people with whom they can work to make these legitimate deals happen. That's you. Because the bankers, lawyers, brokers, accountants, the old gatekeepers, they're yesterday's news. What you have that they don't have is untouched credibility. We know the banker who's running an offshore bank in Antigua is a strange guy. But you're running an honest investment firm. What better way to move money than to find honest brokers who are unaware because they don't know what's happening in virtual reality and artificial intelligence. They don't know how easy it is for that 16-year-old who cheated on his English test to fool you. Because through artificial intelligence and virtual reality, he can create a world that looks to you exactly like real. I come to you and I say, hiya, I'm 50 years old. Well, and I've been fairly successful. I run an import-export firm out of Chicago, and I want to call it quits. And I'm worth, I don't know, $15, $18 million. Oh, and by the way, I've come recommended by our friend, mutual friend, who happens to be your brother-in-law, who's a lawyer, and he's recommending me. And here's what I want to do. My wife is from Vermont, and we want to live on a Christmas tree farm. We want to invest in a Christmas tree farm. We're going to sell out of Chicago, sell out the apartment. I've got, 15, 20 million bucks, so I'm going to suddenly invest, and we want to make the Christmas farm pay for our retirement. And we live in the mountains of Vermont and go skiing, and we like that. And you say, well, $15, $20 million, that's a pretty attractive client. And it's my brother-in-law who sent him. Yeah, okay. So you do your due diligence. And the 16-year-old has constructed a universe in which I look like the best thing since canned beer. And you say, ooh, this guy's going to change my life. And I say, oh, by the way, I've got a friend in San Diego who wants to get into a pineapple farm, but I'll introduce you. And you say, well, this is fantastic. I'm really going to start rocking and rolling here. I'm going to be a big guy with Commonwealth because I've got to have these huge investments. And you put together a scheme using your credibility to justify my scheme. Plausible deniability? Hey, I've checked everything. It's real. Sure, it's real in virtual reality. It's real in artificial intelligence. But that's what that 16-year-old kid is going to do to you. And the problem is, one day, there's a knock on the door. and the guys knocking on the door have badges, guns, and handcuffs. Why? Come with us. Conspiracy to commit money laundering. What are you talking about? Conspiracy to commit money laundering. US 18, whatever the code is. I'm an investment advisor. I don't launder money. I don't even touch money. I'm not a broker. I don't touch money. I just give advice. Yup. And you gave advice to a guy with a Christmas tree farm that's laundering money for the Sinaloa cartel. And he hooked you up with a guy with pineapples in Hawaii who's laundering money for the Sinaloa cartel, and you're coming with us. You say, this is crazy. I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, you did. You believed your eyes. Simple. The 16-year-old gotcha. Virtual reality and AI has changed the game in money laundering. It looks real. And every box that you have to tick off to assure yourself that it is real, AI and virtual reality has already second-guessed you and made it easy for you to tick off the boxes. How do you defend yourself? If you go looking for the money laundering, you don't, because you're not going to find it. Because today's money laundering is stealth. It's invisible. It looks like a Christmas tree farm in Vermont, or a quarter horse industry in Texas, or an ice cream chain of ice cream parlors. But not all fraud is money laundering, but all money laundering has an element of fraud. And that's where you have to go. Now, if you look right down here, there's a trap door. It's tiny. And you got to open the trap door, and you got to squeeze through the trap door into the basement. And the basement is filled with tubes and pipes. And you've got to hunt around to all of the tubes and pipes until you find one marked lie. Ah, I tell you a lie, you give me money, that's fraud. Then you've got to find the connecting tube or pipe that is the exchange of money. And once you see the lie and the exchange of money, once you spot the fraud, you follow the pipe up to the roof. And that's where the money laundering is. But if you simply started on floors 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and the roof, you wouldn't spot it. You wouldn't know what you're looking at. Look for the fraud.